Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to sage Narada, and all other sages and saints, and to each of you, divine soul, watching today's satsang. So we are covering Narada Bhakti Sutras. We are on chapter number 3, which is primary and secondary devotion, and we'll be covering sutra number 61 today. Commentary is by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. Sutra 61, chapter number 3. It says, Lokahanau Chinta Nakarya Niveditatma Loka Vedatvat. Let's repeat. Lokahanau Chinta Nakarya Niveditatma Loka Vedatvat, meaning a devotee should not worry about any resulting worldly losses because he has surrendered himself and all his actions, whether worldly or Vedic. So let's go deeper. A devotee develops a childlike trust in the divine plan. Just like a baby holds on to his mother, he knows the mother will guide and protect him and do what's right for him. Although he performs his actions that promote harmony in the world, he does not worry about the world. Although there is grief, pain, and we feel like helping everybody, internally we understand, just like our mother is taking care of our needs, the divine mother is taking care of the needs of the world, and each soul goes up and down according to the divine plan of karmas. So herein lies a profound message for those who wish to help mankind. So some of us feel like we should be doing more selfless service, etc. That's okay. We should do whatever we can, but there is no point in grieving about the process because the world continues. It has been coming and going like this. There has been pain and suffering, life and death, day and night. All these things continue to alternate. So a bhakta develops faith. An enlightened devotee possesses a mind that is not burdened with worry, fear and tension, and an intellect that is subtle and sharp to grasp the cause of human misery and the means of curing them. So he can do whatever he can do to his capacity, but he does not overly stress out about it. Further, merely by possessing a purified mind suffused with the nectar of bhakti or devotion, he provides the greatest welfare for all living beings just by his own personal example. For example, just as a flower emanates fragrance, a bhakta emanates vibrations of harmony and peace from his elevated personality. In other words, the bhakta himself becomes a pilgrimage center, a moving center of God, so to speak. Wherever he goes, his vibrations of purity and devotion help others, help humanity. Therefore, building this level of bhakti, devotion within is so important. But we have to reach to that stage. We cannot just do a little bit here, there, and think, oh, wherever now I'm going, I am a big bhakta. No, our life should be saturated in that. We should start enjoying the process and becoming humbler and humbler than a blade of grass. See, all these sages and saints, they don't take any credit. It's like the sun gives light to everybody, but it doesn't want any royalty or anything. They just keep on there. So sincerity, love, faith, these are the ingredients we need to develop in our very being, in the fiber of our being. An enlightened devotee is so filled with divine consciousness that he is not concerned even for the heavenly attainments made possible by the performance of Vedic rites and rituals and sacrifices, which is covered in the Vedas to a great extent. Even the Bhagavad Gita says that you do certain things, you get certain rewards, and then you come back. In fact, due to his complete self-surrender to God, a devotee is totally unconcerned about his his temporal and spiritual attainments. He becomes totally dependent on God and continues to chant the name and enjoy the nectar, and he continues to, and God starts taking care of his needs, because just like a mother takes care of the baby, it's obvious the baby doesn't have any plans. When will his diaper be changed, when will he be fed, etc.? It all happens spontaneously. So the scriptures say that heaven is the result of various actions, while hell is the result of sinful. So when we do virtuous actions, good actions, charity, etc., but with the expectation that we should get heaven, we certainly get heaven. And when we do wrong things, we certainly get hell, even though we don't want it, but that's what we have earned. So what happens is that after death, therefore, the virtuous go to the heavenly worlds and enjoy the delights, but after exhausting their merits, they have to come back to the world. Like we said, the same thing Bhagavad Gita specifically tells us, and the same applies to the sinful people also, who exhaust their karma in the regions of hell, and then they come back in a class that is suitable to their evolution. Generally, sometimes they go back to a lower species, which means if they were humans but they committed a lot of crimes, then after finishing their hellish experience, they are the soul is hospitalized down into lower species like a rat or a cat or a plant or an animal, just so they go through the evolution process again for valuing human life. Therefore, human life, as I always say many times, is extremely valuable, and it's a great blessing, because we are the most evolved out of 8.4 million species. Therefore, time is short and we can easily continue to earn this wealth while we have health, while we have ability, while we have the time. Otherwise, it will be too late. He is not even concerned. So, a bhakta who has surrendered to God goes beyond vice and virtue. He does not care about heaven and hell. He says, I don't really need all that. I'm enjoying my Lord. I'm enjoying the experience of devotion, the bhakti, and it is growing. So when I'm contented here, why should I look for anything else? And he finds more and more peace within, more and more happiness. And therefore, we say, Mukti Bhakti ki dasi hai, which means liberation is the maid servant of devotion. And God really loves the devotees who are full of love and faith and are touching God through their devotion. And as a result, liberation is given as a byproduct to them. Whereas other sannyasis and big yogis who are following the difficult paths have to do a lot of penance, a lot of tapasya, and many of them fall off the pedestals because of this little thing called ego. So therefore, we have to be very careful on this holy path. However, the emphasis on being without concern does not mean that an aspirant should not perform his duties. That is very important. If for all bhaktas, doesn't matter which path you are following, because this human body is meant for doing action, karma yoga, bhakti, gyan, dhyan, all these are implied, but the undercurrent is bhakti. So Sage Narada will guide us in Sutra number 62, so we don't get complacent and lazy thinking, oh, we are devotees, so therefore let God do everything. So in order to see how compassionate these sages and saints are, they're trying to cover every unturned stone so we don't get misguided. For example, in the previous sutras where we were saying a child is taken care of by the mother, the sage Narada does not want us to literally take that. He wants us to have that feeling that the divine plan is doing, but even the child needs to cry when he's hungry or when he's in pain, so the mother knows what level of pain he is experiencing. Similarly, we need to also put in our self-effort. So we will cover that more in Sutra number 62 tomorrow. Om Tat Sat.